Have you ever wondered why rich people seem to handle money so differently? That's because they do. They follow another kind of rulebook, one that most people never get to see. Today, I'm going to open that book and show you something important. I'll talk about 7 investments that look really smart at first, but quietly keep people stuck and struggling. These aren't strange or rare. They're the same things your advisor might suggest, the things your family trusts, and maybe even the ones you already have. A long time ago, Warren Buffett warned that what a wise person does at the start, someone less careful ends up copying too late. While most people rush to buy these safe investments, those who really understand money stay away. The truth is, the financial world doesn't tell you this because these choices are the ones that make the most money for them, not for you. Each one of these investments shows a big misunderstanding. It's the gap between how people think wealth is built and how it's actually created. The last one I'll talk about is the most dangerous of all. It mixes strong emotions with big money mistakes. It's the reason some people build true wealth, while others work hard all their lives but still feel stuck. Please stay until the end. What you'll learn might save you thousands of dollars over your life and maybe lead you to real financial freedom. Let's start with the first one, buying a home, thinking it's always a smart investment. You've probably heard this many times, from your dad, your neighbor, even your financial advisor. Buy property. You can't go wrong. And yes, real estate can build wealth. But there's a problem hiding in this idea. If that home isn't putting money into your pocket every month, it's not really an asset. It's just something that looks valuable while slowly pulling money away from you. Think about it. Maybe your whole life, people have said real estate always goes up in value. But the truth is, owning a property comes with costs that aren't always talked about, things like repairs, taxes, insurance, and fees for the neighborhood or building. In the US, people spend more than $9,000 a year on these hidden costs, and that doesn't even include the loan for the house. In 10 years, that's over $90,000 gone, even if the house hasn't become one bit more valuable. If the house doesn't make more money than it costs, it's not helping you grow. Before buying, ask yourself this very honest question. Will this property bring money into my life, or will it just be something pretty that takes money away? A vacation home may sound exciting, but if it eats up your savings and free time, it's not freedom. It's just another weight to carry. Let me give you an example. Mike, who lives in Chicago, bought a cabin in the mountains. He thought it would be a smart move. But 5 years later, he had spent over $50,000 just to keep it in shape. Meanwhile, his co-worker Sarah used the same amount of money to buy a small rental house. It gives her $600 every month, even after paying all the costs. The difference? Sarah's house gives her money. Mike's house takes money from him. Does that difference make sense? Wealthy people don't just buy any property, they choose ones that give them money back. Smart investors always look at how much income the property will bring first, and only later think about whether it might grow in value. They do the math carefully. They include the mortgage, taxes, insurance, money set aside for repairs, costs of having someone manage it, and the chance it might be empty sometimes. If after all that the property still brings in more money than it costs, then it's worth adding to their list of investments. There are websites like Roofstock and Fundrise that can help people find these kinds of income-producing properties. And they do it without letting emotions get in the way. And if you're dreaming about having your own vacation home, here's a better idea. First, build up a group of properties that give you money every month. Then use part of that steady income to pay for your dream home. That's what smart investing looks like. But while we're talking about money choices that feel safe, let's look at another one that many people believe is smart, leaving all your money sitting in a savings account. That brings us to the second money trap, keeping all your money in savings. If you're doing this because it seems safe, there's something important you should know. It could actually be costing you a lot of money every year. Many adults were taught to save, save, save. The plan was simple: work hard, put money away, and someday retire. But here's the problem nobody explained. Most regular savings accounts in America pay less than 0.4% in interest. Meanwhile, prices on things like food, clothes, and bills go up every year by at least 3%. That's inflation. So while your money is sitting safely in the bank, it's actually losing power. You're not just standing still, you're quietly falling behind. Let's look at an easy example. If you save $10,000 for 5 years and the bank gives you 0.4% interest, you'll earn about $200. But in those same 5 years, inflation takes away over $1,500 in value. That means your money can buy a lot less than it used to. So even though it feels like you're saving, you're actually losing in a very slow and quiet way. This isn't just about math. It's about giving real value to the money you worked so hard for. Every dollar you leave in a low-interest account is a dollar that's not helping you grow. It's not protecting you. It's slipping away. Banks don't grow your money. They use your money to grow theirs. Look at Janet from Portland. She left $50,000 in a regular savings account for 10 years, thinking it was safe. But inflation slowly took away over $15,000 of its power to buy things. Now look at her brother Tom. He moved his savings to a high-yield account that paid 4.5%. Over the same time, his money actually grew and could buy even more. Both accounts were safe, both were insured, but the results were very different. So what can you do? Move your money to a high-yield savings account or a money market account. That way, your money still stays safe, but it also works harder for you. Right now, many people are earning 4% or more from savings accounts that are still fully protected by FDIC insurance. Online banks like Ally, Capital One, or Marcus by Goldman Sachs often give much better interest rates than the regular banks you see on street corners. If you're planning to save money for a longer time, think about I-bonds. These bonds adjust automatically when inflation changes, helping your money keep its value. Your savings should be treated with care and not be left earning just 0.4%, especially when your bank might be using that same money to earn 10 to 20 times more for themselves. Make a move this week. Opening a new online account can take less than half an hour, and doing this might help you save thousands of dollars over the coming years. But before we go to the next type of money mistake, I want to ask you something. Is this information opening your eyes in a new way? If you've already seen one of these money traps in your own life, write light bulb moment in the comments. I read every message, and I love to know what parts of this are helping you most. Now let's talk about that new car you've been dreaming about. This is the third asset on the list. Buying a brand new car as a reward. You've worked really hard. You've taken care of your family, you've built your job or business, and now you might feel like you deserve something nice. Society tells us we've earned that new car, but the truth is not always what it seems. Buying a brand new car, especially when you're close to retirement, is not always a reward. It can actually set you back financially, even though it feels like a big achievement. Let's look at the numbers. A new car usually loses between 15% and 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. After 5 years, it has often lost more than half its original value. That means half your money is simply gone. Have you seen this happen before? Let's say you're thinking about a $50,000 shiny SUV. In 5 years, it might only be worth about $22,000, if you're lucky. That means $28,000 just disappeared. That's not a smart investment. That's a guaranteed loss. This hits even harder if you're over 40, because of something called opportunity cost. That lost $28,000 could have been growing in your retirement account instead. Even with a simple, steady investment earning 7% a year, that money would grow into more than $55,000 in 10 years without you putting in any extra. Here's a better story. Jim from Texas really wanted a specific car, but instead of buying it new, he found the same model that was 2 years old. It had low mileage and still had most of the warranty. He paid $35,000 instead of $50,000. He got the same comfort, the same features, and the same reliability, but he still had $15,000 left in his investment account. 5 years later, both cars were worth about the same, but Jim's money had grown. So, let me ask you, is that fresh new car smell really worth losing tens of thousands of dollars? Deep down, I think you already know the answer. The smarter move is this: buy a car that's 2 or 3 years old with low mileage. That way you still get many of the same features and dependability, but you skip the part where it loses value the fastest. Use tools like Carfax and have the car checked by a trusted mechanic to make sure it's in good condition. And if you really want a new car every few years, you might consider leasing, but even that is rarely the cheapest choice. Real financial freedom doesn't come from owning fancy things. It comes from knowing your money is helping you, not slowly disappearing while something sits unused in your driveway. But if you thought buying a new car was tough on your wallet, just wait until that dream of owning your own business turns into something that feels more like a trap than a dream. Let's talk about the fourth type of asset: starting a business without planning how to step back. You may have spent many years working for other people, helping them grow their ideas. Now you want to follow your own path. You've been thinking about this for a long time, and the idea of being your own boss sounds like the perfect next step. You want to build something that gives you the freedom you've always wanted. It all sounds wonderful on paper, but there's a truth that not many people share at those exciting business events. Owning a business doesn't bring true freedom unless that business can keep running without you being there all the time. Think about this. Have you ever met a small business owner who looked more tired and stressed than they were when they had a regular job? That's what we're talking about here. According to data, 1 in 5 small businesses closes in the first year. Half of them don't make it past 5 years, and even the ones that succeed can bring more stress, longer hours, and lower pay. The fancy title of owner doesn't help much when you're always working. Many small business owners end up answering emails late at night, missing weekends with family, and often earning less per hour than before. Why? Because they didn't build a true business. They created a job for themselves. They're involved in every little part of the business. They make all the decisions, talk to every customer, and handle every problem. That's not freedom. That's a busy trap with your name on it. Look at Maria. She left her job in a big company to open a bakery. After 5 years, the bakery is doing well. But Maria hasn't taken a vacation in 3 years. She works more than 70 hours each week and can't remember the last time she had a peaceful meal with her family. Now, think about David. He opened a property management company, but from day one, he created systems and hired people to help him. Now he can take a full 2 months off each year, and the business keeps going just fine. So what's the difference between Maria and David? Maria built a job. David built a system. If you want to start your own business, here's what you should do before you even open your doors. First, write down the 3 main parts of your business. Usually, these are how the work gets done: operations, how you get customers, sales and marketing, and how money is handled, finance and admin. Then, for each of these, design one simple task or process that you can teach someone else to do right away. For example, in operations, it might be how you welcome new customers. In sales, it could be the emails you send to follow up with people. In finance, It might be how you send invoices. Next, choose tools that can help make these tasks automatic. You could use Calendly to schedule meetings, MailChimp to send emails, QuickBooks to handle money, or Notion to keep track of everything. Once you start with this plan, you can read books like The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber or Built to Sell by John Warrillow to learn more about building a business that doesn't need you there every day. Here's the key idea. If you can't take a 2-week break during your first year in business without everything falling apart, then you haven't built a true business. You've built another job. Real freedom in business comes when the work continues and money keeps coming in, whether you're there or not. That's what lets you travel, relax, and spend time with people you love without needing to check your phone every hour. If you think owning a business without a plan can be stressful, wait until you learn what happens when insurance and investing are mixed together in one package. This brings us to asset number 5, whole life insurance. It may look helpful, but it often turns into something like fancy financial handcuffs. At first glance, whole life insurance sounds like a dream. It offers life insurance and investing in one plan. That might seem like a smart choice. Insurance agents often say it's amazing, and maybe that's because they earn a big commission when they sell it. These policies can have different names like whole life, universal life, indexed life, or variable life. The names change, but the problems usually stay the same. Let's look at some simple numbers. A 45-year-old man might pay around $400 a year for term life insurance, but for whole life insurance, the cost could be $4,000 a year. That's 10 times more money. Most of that extra money doesn't go to help you. It goes toward fees, commissions, and complicated rules. That might be surprising. 10 times the cost for something that only seems slightly better. Insurance companies like to talk about the steady returns and the cash value you get with whole life, but they don't usually compare it to a simple, low-cost index fund which can grow your money much faster. Here's the part that can really hurt. When you pass away, your family usually gets the death benefit only. The cash value you spent years building, it stays with the insurance company. You don't get both. That detail is often hidden in the tiny words of a very long and tricky contract. Let's look at Paul from Michigan. He paid $650 each month into his whole life insurance policy for 20 years. That adds up to $156,000. After all that time, the amount he could actually get back, called the cash surrender value, was just $98,000. Meanwhile, Paul's twin brother Mark chose term life insurance. He paid $50 a month for the same amount of coverage. The other $600 he invested into an S&P 500 index fund. After 20 years, Mark's investment had grown to over $380,000. Both brothers had the same life insurance coverage, but Mark ended up with nearly 4 times the money. Take a moment to think about your own situation. Do you have a whole life policy? Do you know exactly how much of your money goes to fees? Do you understand how your cash value works? Here's what many financial experts do for themselves. They buy simple term life insurance for 20 to 30 years, just enough time to cover family needs or debts. Then they invest the rest of their money into low-cost index funds or ETFs. This gives you more control, better chances for growth, clear rules, fewer fees, and no huge contract written to confuse you. We're already more than halfway through this list of smart-sounding but risky assets, so take a moment. Have you ever been sold one of these? Maybe a whole life policy a relative recommended, or maybe a property that never gave the profits you expected. Feel free to share your story. Your words might help someone else avoid the same mistake. The truth is, the financial industry often hopes we stay quiet, but when we speak up, we can shine a light on these traps. Now let's move on to another well-known item that many believe is a safe bet, especially during uncertain times. Asset number 6, buying gold as jewelry. It may look lovely, but it's not a great way to build wealth. You might have heard someone in your family say, "Gold jewelry is a smart investment." Maybe your aunt said it, or maybe your grandmother used to do it. It feels comforting, especially when the economy seems shaky. But here's the honest truth. Most of the money you spend on gold jewelry goes to fashion, not value. When you buy gold jewelry, you're paying for the design, the brand name, the fine work, and the store's costs, not just the gold. That beautiful $3,000 necklace you see, it might have only $800 worth of gold in it. Almost 75% of your money went toward things that won't matter if you ever want to sell it. Did you know the markup could be that high? In fact, most gold jewelry loses 30% to 70% of its value right after you buy it. And if you try to sell it, you'll find that most buyers only care about the weight of the gold, not the fancy name or the memories attached. Susan from Dallas learned this the hard way. Over 30 years, she bought what she believed was high-quality investment gold jewelry worth $25,000 total. When she needed to sell it during retirement, the best offer she got was just $7,600. That's less than 1/3 of what she paid. The jeweler told her they only cared about the gold's melt value, not the lovely designs or the high prices she had paid. Has anyone ever told you a story like that? It's more common than you might think. If you want to invest in gold for smart reasons, like protecting your money from inflation or adding variety to your investments, you need to do it carefully. For real gold investing, go to trusted and certified dealers like APMEX, JM Bullion, or the US Mint. Buying gold can be smart, but gold jewelry is not the same as gold investment. It may look beautiful, but it's not likely to help your money grow. If you're thinking about buying coins or small gold bars, make sure the dealer is approved by groups like the National Futures Association or the Better Business Bureau. Only buy from places with proper website security. Be very careful if a site offers gold for a much lower price than what it normally sells for. That's usually a sign something might be wrong. If you don't want to keep and store real gold yourself, you can invest in gold in a simpler way. Some people choose gold ETFs, which are traded like stocks. You can buy and sell these through trusted companies like Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard. Popular choices include GLD and IAU. These usually have smaller fees than real gold and don't come with the worry of storing anything at home. Gold jewelry can be meaningful, but meaningful is not the same as valuable in money. If you buy jewelry because you love how it looks, that's totally fine. Just don't expect it to help pay for your retirement. Be honest with yourself. Are you buying something for beauty or for investment? If you've been buying jewelry thinking it will protect you financially in the future, it might be time to take another look at that plan. But at least jewelry only uses your own money. Things can get even harder when your money gets mixed with family or friends. Asset number 7 is lending money to people you care about. It feels like the right thing to do, but it can lead to big problems. They needed help, you had the money, so you said yes because that's what kind people do. But sometimes, what starts as a kind loan slowly turns into something that feels more like a gift you weren't ready to give. And those feelings can stay in your heart for a very long time. When there's no clear agreement, no deadline, and no plan for repayment, it creates a strange situation. You may feel awkward around that person at every birthday, wedding, or holiday gathering. Have you ever given money to someone close and later wished you hadn't? Or are you still waiting for money someone promised to repay next month, many months ago? A study by Bankrate says that 46 out of every 100 people who lend money to loved ones end up losing that money, hurting the relationship, or both. And what's worse, you can't call a collections agency to get your money back. You just carry the pain in silence, maybe feeling upset when you see that person buy something nice while your loan is still unpaid. Robert Ajuzzi knows this feeling too well. He lent $30,000 to his brother-in-law to start a business. They didn't write anything down, just shook hands. 5 years passed, he got back only $2,000. Then the business failed. The brother-in-law declared bankruptcy and the family stopped talking. Robert lost $28,000, money he had saved for his retirement. He will never see that money again. But the answer isn't to stop helping people you love. It's to do it in a wise and kind way. If you're able to give money as a gift, be clear about it. Say something like, "This is a gift, not a loan. I don't expect anything back." That kind of honesty can protect your relationship. If you want to make a loan, it's okay to say, "I care about you and want to help, but our relationship matters too much to let money cause problems. Let's make a clear agreement." Then use apps like Zerto or Loan Builder to write down the loan terms and set payment dates. If the amount is big, especially for something like a business, think about becoming an investor instead of a lender. You could say, "I'd like to invest in your business. If it does well, we both win. If it doesn't, you won't owe me anything." This way, everyone has the same goal and understands what could happen. You can still be kind and generous. Just don't give away your peace of mind, your future comfort, or your pride. Remember, you can't help others if you don't take care of yourself first. Building a strong financial future is not selfish. It gives you the power to help when it really matters. We've now talked about 7 types of money traps. They might seem like smart choices at first, but they can actually make it harder for you to grow your wealth. I've shared how to spot them and what to do instead. Now I'd love to know what you think. On a scale from 1 to 10, how helpful was this information in your journey with money? Your answer helps me know how to make even better advice for you in the future. Leave your number in the comments below. Let's go back for a moment to asset number 4, starting a business without a plan to step away. You've worked for others for many years. You helped build their dreams. Now you want to build your own. You want to start that business you've been thinking about and finally have the freedom you've been dreaming of. It looks great on paper, but the truth can be very different. Here's something those exciting business talks often leave out. A business isn't real freedom unless it works without you being there every day. Have you ever met a small business owner who looks more tired and busy than when they had a regular job? That's the issue. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that 1 out of 5 small businesses fails in the first year. By the 5th year, half of them are gone. But here's the tricky part. Even the ones that succeed can become full-time jobs with longer hours and more stress, just with a fancier title. If you ask a small business owner about their work-life balance, many will laugh. They're answering emails late at night, working weekends, and often making less per hour than they did before. Why? Because they built a job, not a system. They are needed for everything, every customer, every task, every problem. That's not freedom. That's a trap they made for themselves. Think about Maria. She left her office job to open a bakery. Now 5 years later, the bakery is doing well. But she hasn't had a vacation in 3 years. She works more than 70 hours a week. She can't even eat dinner with her family without taking work calls. Now meet David. He started a property management company, but did things differently. From the beginning, he created systems and hired people to run the business. Today, he can take 2 months off each year, and the business still makes money without him. What's the real difference between Maria and David? Maria built a job, David built a system. If you're thinking about starting your own business, here's something important to do before you even open the doors. First, think about the 3 main parts that every business usually has. These are how the business runs each day: operations, how it gets new customers, sales or marketing, and how it handles money, financial tasks. For each part, come up with one simple job that someone else could do from the very beginning. For example, in operations, it could be helping new customers get started. In sales, it might be sending follow-up emails. In finance, it could be making sure invoices are sent and paid. Next, choose helpful tools to make each of these jobs easier. You might use something like Calendly to schedule meetings, MailChimp to send emails, QuickBooks to handle bills, or Notion to keep track of everything and write down how things should be done. Start with this simple plan. Then, if you want to learn even more, you can read books like The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber or Built to Sell by John Warrillow. These books explain how to build a business that can work even when you're not there. Here's something to remember. If you can't take a 2-week break in your first year of business without everything falling apart, you haven't created a real business. You've created a job. Real business freedom means your company keeps making money whether you're working or not. That's what gives you time to travel, rest, and be with the people you love, without having to check your phone every hour. But if you think a messy business plan can cause problems, just wait until you hear what happens when you mix insurance with investing. It's one of the financial industry's favorite products. For them, not always for you. Let's talk about asset number 5, whole life insurance. It might seem like a smart deal at first. Life insurance and investing in one? Sounds easy, right? That's what your insurance agent might say, and they probably believe it's great. But part of their excitement might come from the big commission they earn when they sell it to you. There are lots of names for it: whole life, universal life, indexed, variable, but they all work in similar ways. Let's look at what it really costs. A 45-year-old man who wants $500,000 in coverage could pay about $400 a year for term life insurance. But for whole life insurance, he might pay $4,000 a year. That's 10 times more. Most of the extra money goes to fees, sales commissions, and extra rules, not to you. That price difference might surprise you. 10 times more for something that looks only a little better? Insurance companies love to talk about the steady returns and savings that build up in these policies, but they don't say much about how those returns compare to simple investments like index funds. And here's the worst part. When you pass away, your family usually only gets the life insurance amount. The savings part, the cash value that you spent years growing, doesn't go to your loved ones. The insurance company keeps it. That important detail is hidden deep inside the contract. It's the kind of document that even a law professor would find hard to understand. Let's look at Paul from Michigan. He paid $650 every month for 20 years into a whole life policy that also invested money. In total, he put in $156,000. But after all that time, if he stopped the policy, he'd only get $98,000 back. That's called the cash surrender value. Now let's look at his twin brother, Mark. Mark bought a simple term life insurance plan for $50 a month. He took the extra $600 each month and put it into an S&P 500 index fund. Over the same 20 years, his investment grew to more than $380,000. Both brothers had life insurance, but Mark ended up with almost 4 times more savings. So think about your own money. Do you have a whole life policy right now? Do you know exactly how much you're paying in fees? Do you truly understand how the savings part works? Most money experts do something very different for themselves. They buy simple term life insurance for 20 to 30 years, just during the time they have family to support or loans to pay. Then they invest the extra money on their own in low-cost index funds or ETFs. That way, they have more control, better chances for growth, fewer fees, clear rules, and no giant contract designed to be confusing. We're already past the halfway mark in our list, and I'm curious, how many of these tricky, smart assets have you come across in your own life? Was it a whole life insurance plan someone close to you recommended? Or maybe a property that didn't bring in the profits you thought it would? Share your story in the comments. You never know. Your experience might help someone else avoid making the same expensive mistake. The truth is, the financial world often counts on people staying quiet. But when we speak up and share, we can help uncover some of the traps that hide behind shiny promises. Let's keep going and look at another asset that's been talked about like it's a guaranteed win, especially when people are feeling nervous about money or the economy. Asset number 6, buying gold as jewelry. It looks beautiful, but it doesn't always help your money grow. Maybe you've heard this advice before. Buy gold jewelry. It's a good investment. It might have come from an aunt or your grandmother. It's advice that sounds comforting, especially when things feel uncertain. But here's the truth without any sugarcoating. Most gold jewelry is more about looks than it is about making your money grow. When you buy gold jewelry, you're not only paying for the gold. You're also paying for the design, the brand name, the skill it took to make it, and the cost of the store that sold it. That $3,000 necklace, it might only have $800 worth of real gold in it. That means almost 75% of what you're paying has nothing to do with the gold itself. Did you know the price was marked up that much? Experts say that gold jewelry often drops in value by 30% to 70% as soon as you walk out of the store. And if you try to sell it later, most people will only care about the amount of gold it has, not how special the design is or who made it. Susan from Dallas found this out the hard way. She spent 30 years buying what she believed was investment jewelry. Altogether, she spent over $25,000. When she tried to sell it during retirement, the best offer she got was $7,600. The jeweler told her they only looked at the melt value, the weight of the gold. None of the details or designs she had paid extra for. Have you ever heard something similar? It happens more than people think. If you really want to invest in gold, maybe to protect yourself from inflation or to mix up your investments, you'll need a smarter plan. For real gold, look for trusted dealers, places like APMEX, JM Bullion, or the US Mint. If you're buying coins or small bars, always check that the dealer is approved by groups like the National Futures Association or the Better Business Bureau. Be very careful with websites that don't seem secure or offer gold at prices that are much lower than usual. That's often a warning sign. If you want something easier, consider gold ETFs. These are investments you can buy through big companies like Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard. Popular choices like GLD or IAU act like stocks. They cost less than real gold and don't need to be stored at home. Now, don't get this wrong. Jewelry can be meaningful. It can tell stories, hold memories, and bring joy. But meaning is not the same as market value. If you're buying jewelry because it's beautiful and you love it, that's great. Just don't expect it to pay for your future. It's important to be honest with yourself. Are you buying something as an investment, or are you buying a luxury item? If you've been collecting jewelry thinking it would help you retire, now might be a good time to rethink that plan. At least with jewelry, only your own money is at risk. But things can get even trickier when emotions, family, and money get mixed together. Asset number 7, lending money to family and friends. Helping people you love feels like the right thing to do. They were in need. You had the money. So you said yes. That's what caring people do, right? It begins with kindness, but here's what often happens next. That kind loan can slowly turn into a gift with strings attached. And those unspoken expectations can quietly harm relationships for years. Without a clear agreement, a timeline, or a plan to pay the money back, things get uncomfortable. It creates a strange feeling between you, one that might show up at every family event. Have you ever lent money to someone close and later wished you hadn't? Or maybe you're still waiting for that promise of repayment that keeps getting delayed. A study by Bankrate found that nearly half of people who lend money to loved ones end up losing that money or hurting the relationship. And here's the hard part. When someone doesn't pay you back, you can't send them to collections. Instead, you carry that loss quietly, sometimes watching them buy expensive things while your loan goes unpaid. The cost can be big. Think about Robert Tien. He lent his brother-in-law $30,000 for a new business, trusting a handshake instead of a contract. 5 years later, he had only gotten $2,000 back. The business failed. The brother-in-law went bankrupt, and the family stopped talking. Robert lost $28,000, money he had saved for retirement, and also lost a family bond. Imagine that. Not just losing money, but losing connection with people you care about. Would you have done anything differently? The answer isn't to stop helping people, it's to find better ways to do it. If you're giving money as a gift, be clear about it from the beginning. Look them in the eye and say, "This is a gift, not a loan. There's no need to pay me back, and I still care about you whether it's returned or not." Being clear like this helps avoid future confusion or hurt feelings. But if you do want to offer a loan, you need to treat it seriously. You might say, "I want to support you, but I also care about our relationship. Let's write this down so we both know what's expected." Then you can use tools like Zertu or Loan Builder to create a written plan with payment dates. These tools even send reminders, which helps avoid awkward conversations later. For bigger loans, especially for business ideas, you might want to act as an investor instead. You can say, "Instead of a loan, I'd like to invest in your idea. If it works, we both gain. If it doesn't, we don't owe each other anything." This way, everyone is on the same team, and no one has to feel guilty or awkward if things don't go well. You can still be generous without putting your future at risk. You don't need to empty your own cup to fill someone else's. Making sure your money is safe doesn't mean you're selfish. It just means you're building a strong base so you can keep helping others when it really matters. We've now looked at 7 financial choices that seem smart but can actually hold you back. I've shared what to watch out for and better paths you can take. Now I'd love to know from 1 to 10, how helpful was this for your money journey? Leave your number in the comments. Your feedback helps me share more ideas that truly support you.